Hello, everyone. This is James, and welcome to the interview with Daniel today. Okay, so I want to do some technology check first. We're broadcasting this live session to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn at the same time. If you guys can hear me, please let me know where you're watching, and let me know if you can see me and hear me. Okay. Get some comments from YouTube already here. Okay. All right. So anyone who's watching from Facebook and LinkedIn, please comment and let me know if you guys can see me and hear me. Okay. In the same time, I'll just check myself. All right. Uh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing some comments from LinkedIn now. Hey, Alexandra, April, Georgia. Hello, hello, you guys. Can you guys see me? Okay. And let's see here. Okay, Michelle, I see Michelle, Olga, Georgia, Tara, hello, 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 everyone. Jane Hart, hello, Jackie, Lonnie, great to hear, see you guys here. Okay, Marlene from YouTube, yeah, and in the same time, feel free to introduce yourself to the audience. Know where you're calling from, who are you? Hey, Nicola, Alvin, hello, hello. Yep. Good. And I think everything's good. We're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Great. All right. So today we have a guest, Daniel. So what we're gonna do is I'll just quickly do an introduction of myself. I know some of you guys who are watching right now probably not very familiar with my background. I'll just introduce myself very quickly, and then I'll bring Daniel to the stream, and he's waiting very patiently right now on the back. I'll bring him to the live in 2 minutes. Okay. In the same at the same time, you guys just introduce yourself, say hello to each other. We got a lot of people on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube now. And if you don't mind, click on the like button to help us promote the session so more people can find us on the platform. Okay. All right. Olga, Mariam, hello, Larissa. Good to see you guys. Doreen, awesome. There's a lot of familiar names. Beta, hello guys. Hello. All right. So for myself, very quickly, my name is James Liu. So I'm a business coach for teachers. I've been helping teachers, ESL teachers, start their business, go independent, get students online, and I've been doing this for the past 3 years. Now. So myself, I'm not a teacher. A lot of people, hey James, are you a teacher? I'm not a teacher. I'm actually an ESL student myself. I happened to help some of my teachers and got into this field and started a business in January 2019, helping more teachers out there with their business. And in the past 3 years, we helped thousands of teachers through group sessions, one-on-one coaching program, courses, and we have a big team now, a big community. If you this is your first time watching this live session, follow me. Follow me on LinkedIn, YouTube, and the Facebook. I'm trying to do this type of interview every once a week, once a month to mainly to share the stories of the teachers who are doing better now in their business, more successful, to inspire more teachers to think about this option to go independent and get their students online by themselves, and also share some good tips and the strategies with teachers who are already doing it. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot more people here now. Maria King, Elsie, hello, Victoria, Malcolm. All right, cool guys. Yeah, so that's me. Very quickly, right? Click on the like button if you want to help us promote the session, and keep introducing yourself. Let us know where you're from and which stage of the business you are in. Okay. Now I'm just gonna bring Daniel to the live and let him introduce himself. Okay. All right. Hi, Daniel.
Hello,
Hello.
hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Good to see everything's working. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Really happy to be here and talk about my journey.
Great, Daniel. Yeah, so it's very funny, how we actually get connected with each other. I remember that was probably last year or sometime early last year, and
Yep.
you were making posts in the Teach Entrepreneur group with your podcast. Remember,
Right, right.
podcast posts and your interviewing teachers. It was very interesting. I actually listened to some of them. Very interesting. I know you're still doing that, right? The
Yep.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually
Good.
getting ready for season 4, so it's
That's
going
great.
really well. It's been
That's
growing.
great.
Yeah.
And then I remember you first joined the 7 day social media marketing challenge, and then you joined the 21 day challenge, and that was
Correct. Yeah.
December 2020, 2021 last year, and then you joined the inner circle after that to continue working with us. Yeah, it's been a journey. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for everyone who hasn't met me before, my name's Daniel Shaw. Been teaching now for 11 years. I started out teaching in the UK, regular high school. Was great, but again, it wasn't exactly what I felt was my true calling. I then moved to Canada about 5 years ago to take up teaching at a university, which again, I really loved, I really enjoyed, but still there was something missing. I didn't feel again fully fulfilled. As we know, lots of long hours, the pay wasn't great, and a lot of kind of external factors that took away from me just wanting to teach, which is what I do best. So I've been looking for something, and as James said, I kind of joined the teacher entrepreneur group, was just kind of there for a while, looking at everything, connecting. I did start a podcast, like James mentioned, which was a nice way to connect with others and start getting involved in the community. I then decided, once I finally had some time, okay, I'm going to do this. I did the Teacher Entrepreneur Challenge, the 7-day first social media challenge, which really helped me just get comfortable and confident with posting pictures and videos, which is really tough, but it helped a lot. From there, I then went into the 21-day challenge, learned a lot of really valuable, useful skills to prepare me, and then joined the inner circle later. So it's been a lot of learning, and it's been a very exciting journey, and things are going really well. So I just wanted to obviously share that with you guys today.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of challenges too.
Absolutely, yeah, a lot of things to learn.
Yeah, and people in the inner circle actually call inner circle the 21-month challenge.
I can see why. Yeah,
The
yeah.
70 challenge, and actually 21-week challenge. So 70 challenge, 21-day challenge, 21-week challenge. Anyways,
Right.
I'm glad you're here, Daniel. And so today this session is really about your early success. You're still new to this journey.
Cool.
I wanted to make one thing clear, okay? So Daniel gonna talk about his results, what he has done, and he got 15 clients in 1 month. So I don't want you guys to feel that's the normal results. It's not, okay?
No.
We've been running this 21-day challenge for 3 years, over 2 years now. Usually, we get some teachers get 1 or 2 students during the challenge, and they got 1 or 2 students after challenge in the first month. So it's not normal to get such good results in the first month. And Daniel will explain why, because he has his different situation. He's able to leverage a lot of his existing resources already. But what I want you guys to learn today is really how he did it, and a lot of tapes Daniel gonna share with you guys in terms of marketing, in terms of the sales, and all of different things. And that's what I want you guys to pay attention to. Okay, so yeah, Daniel, if you don't mind, you can share your results. How's your journey been so far with this business?
Sure. Yeah. So, like I said, I joined the 21-day challenge in December. That was kind of when I made that decision. Okay, I'm not working right now. This month is just for me to develop and work on my business. Now, through that, even as soon as kind of 10, 11, 12 days into that 21-day challenge, I was already able to put the steps in place and start working and building towards, what I wanted to do. And like you mentioned, because I had that experience and I'd already been working with students online in different capacities, I was able to kind of put that all together, start getting strategy sessions, and then start getting students. So like I mentioned, 15 in January, which again was amazing, starting out. So February was up to 22, and then as of today, I think we're at about 28. So it's been a great journey. They're not all one-to-one students. There's some groups as well, because I have to sleep and eat. But it's been amazing, and there's some factors, some things that helped me to do that, which I'll be happy to share with everyone today.
Yeah, absolutely. And before you start this journey? And I remember you told me that you worked in a school, right? The
Mhm.
university in Canada.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was the
That
position?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a great point. Yeah, let me just expand on that. That's really important. So yeah, I was working in a university in Canada where I was doing EAP or academic preparation for English. So all of my students came from different countries. They had to do an intensive English course to help improve their English level to get it to the proficiency needed. So that helped me recognize, okay, there's a real need for this, and students really need this. And not just students coming to Canada, but maybe from the US or the UK. So I had a little bit of knowledge of those, which I was able to use to help me better serve those students. So I'd saved a lot of time because I already identified a niche or an area where I could really
Mm,
do what I do well, and I just
yeah.
had to put that into an online message or a different way of
Yeah.
presenting that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So we're gonna just break it down and for you
Sure.
guys how Daniel exactly managed to do this and leverage experience he had in the from teaching his previous students. So three things basically we're gonna talk about. So
Yep.
we call it Daniel's recipe for success. Right, three things. The first thing, how he implemented the nurturing strategies for his audience. The second one will be how Daniel leveraged his existing experience in the business. And the last one, how Daniel always keeping the door open for potential clients and adding value when possible. So we're going to start the first one, how implementing nurturing strategies for his audience. I think there's going to be a lot of great tips and helpful insights for teachers who have already started or just started. Really
Hmm.
give you guys some great practice. Daniel has found very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to break this down step by step. So if anyone wants to take down notes, I'll try to make it as note friendly as possible. So the first thing to kind of nurture potential clients, potential leads, potential students is try to make that connection early on. And when I say try to make a connection, it's not, hey, I have this product, I have this service, I have this course, you should take it. It's just having that first conversation. So perhaps you connect on LinkedIn, for example, hi, how's it going? Some general conversation just to build some rapport. Now, for me, because I've taught in South Korea, I've taught in the UK, I've taught in Canada, I've worked with students from many, many different backgrounds and many, many different countries. I can have that connection right away. So, for example, I see you're from Hungary. Wow. Are you from Budapest? Oh, you know. How did you know? Okay, yeah. So already you're building that connection and you're starting to build some rapport with that potential person. And then the second step would be to try to give some simple advice or some guidance. So perhaps ask them what they're doing at the moment. Oh, I'm actually working in a company in the US. Oh, wow, in IT. Okay, how's that? How do you find that? What have you found to be easy? Is there anything that you find difficult? Then you can start to give some advice and you can start to give some guidance in a general way. The reason for that is that you don't want to push, you don't want to try to lead them towards any kind of sale or any kind of course. It's just to again build that rapport and nurture that potential person. Another thing that I've used is through my own communication. So maybe a person asks me, what are you working on at the moment? How are things with you? I might say something like, oh, I'm actually quite busy at the moment. I'm teaching a lot of classes, I'm enrolling a lot of students right now in my program, but it's going really well. And they might ask, oh, program, course, teaching, tell me more. So already you're facilitating that conversation without actually doing it yourself. And that can be a really nice way to build a genuine conversation. You can talk about common topics that work for me, or talking about their life in a new country, maybe their culture, language, again, how that works. And then over time, you can position yourself as that go-to person. So 3 months, 6 months, maybe even 12 months later, that person might say, oh, actually, I really want to start working on my interview skills, or I want to try to get a better job, or I want to apply for that master's degree. Oh, actually, I was talking to that guy on LinkedIn. Let me reach out. Wonderful. You've done the hard work. Again, keeping it organic, keeping it friendly, keeping it, genuine is really important. And then one more thing within that for in terms of finding the audience, initially it was just kind of individuals. And I found over time what's really helped for me now is with my knowledge and experience of the university sector, well, instead of just going for contacting a student, which is great, why don't I talk to the gatekeepers, as I call them? So people in administration, the people who make decisions, the people who coordinate programs. That again has been massive, and that's actually led to me getting some groups and having opportunities to at least speak about them, which again helps position me as the go-to person, and then helps hopefully build a pipeline, as I call it, not necessarily clients, but building continuous conversation, continuous leads. That's kind of how I worked it.
Yeah. Good. Let me just quickly summarize a little bit here.
Sure.
I'm taking notes. So I think the first point you mentioned, notes, that's something we do in the challenge and also in the inner circle, the DM strategy, right?
Yes.
DM strategy, there are two ways to do that, the push and the pull. I think the way you introduce it is mostly for pull method. And a lot of teachers are really confused or not doing pull very well because they always aim to make a sale or aim to get them on a call. I think what you shared, what you shared, very important for people to remember is just to be genuine, be real, be genuine, really be there to ask questions and care about them. Don't think about whether or not they're going to become your client or they're going to become your, they're going to pay you. Just go there and make friends, real friends, or be genuine, right? Then you will have really good strategy, like getting people to know you, all that, right? And I think the second point is also a good reminder when you mentioned, the sales might take maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, right? It does not happen. Okay, you start a conversation today. I'm not aiming to close them or have them pay me in 1 week or 2 weeks. I don't have that goal. I just want to have a genuine conversation. Then it might lead to a sale in 6 months. I don't care because I know at one point they will, because I'm the go-to person. I'm the authority. And that is a good reminder of what we say. The goal of doing marketing is not to close somebody, is not to get somebody to pay you now. The goal of doing marketing is to make sure when this person has a problem you can solve, you are the first one they will go to. That's the goal of doing marketing, and that's exactly what you did. And number 3, now reach out to these people in the school, not necessarily the students. That's what we recently have been talking a lot. Community building, not only connecting with potential clients, potential customers, but also supporters, people who potentially can help you with your business. And that's a lot of teachers get concerned. Oh, I'm connecting on LinkedIn. Oh, these are native speakers. Do I need to connect with them? Or these people have great English. Do I need to connect with them? They might not be your customer, but they probably know people, a lot of people that could become your customer, right? So always keep that in mind, not only connecting with customers, prospects, potential buyers, but also connecting to people who actually potentially can help you with your business. These 3 points are very, very well organized. Thanks for sharing that, Daniel. I think
No
you
problem.
put it in a way teachers can comprehend better because that's great. So anything
Thanks.
else to add here? Or?
I was just going to say, yeah, I think by implementing those strategies, a lot of the time now, I'm not saying all the time, but there's probably a good 50% of the time where I don't actually push, let's have a meeting, let's have a chat, let's try to sell. It's just they'll come to me, or it'll be more organic, do you have some time to chat? And then that's kind of how we get the ball rolling. So I find that approach works really well. It takes time, obviously, it takes energy, but you will hopefully start to see the results. And then if it is 3 months or 6 months later, then you've had the practice, you've had time to establish even more, you've had time to build more, connections and build more of a reputation as well. So it can only benefit you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we are still on the first one, implementing nurturing strategies for the audience. Are you ready to move on to the next one?
Yes, let's move on.
Great. So the second one, leveraging existing experience in the business.
Yeah, so obviously I appreciate we're all at different journeys, in terms of teaching. Some of us are newer, some of us have been around for a long, long time. I'm 10, 11 years, which isn't much compared to a lot of the colleagues that I've worked with. And this is really important because if you already have those skills or you have those materials or you've spent lots of time working in a certain country or working in a certain context, try to use that. Throughout the 21-day challenge, a lot of it was about finding a niche and finding an area where you can really show you what you do best. And it was tough for me, and I know for a lot of people, they find it quite difficult, but through the challenge and through the support, I managed to find an area that worked really well for me and was able to develop that more so that I can give my message and give my delivery to students in the best way possible. Now, one really important tool for that is LinkedIn, obviously, as we've mentioned. So what I need to do is I need to create that message to anyone who drops by my profile, who speaks to me. So one really important thing is reviews. And I know this is obviously covered in the challenge and in the training, but by getting reviews and reaching out to my previous students, my previous clients, my previous coworkers, and me and them having a good rapport, they have good results, then I'm doing a lot of the hard work. I don't have to wait months and months to get reviews. I can kind of build them all up continuously before I start, so that when I do go out there, wow, he's got 30, 40, 50 reviews already. This person seems like they might be know what they're doing. So that was really key for me in the starting point. And I think that helped me to pick up the amount of students I did early, because they could see right away, wow, this person gets results, or it seems like they get results anyway. So that was a really important thing for me. Networking, huge. Again, that's a huge part of the 21-day challenge. That's why I also joined the inner circle, because networking has been amazing for me. You know, a lot of teachers who start out on the journey and the challenge, they feel like, okay, I've only got myself to do this. I've got to motivate myself. I've got to do this when I can. And it's really difficult on your own. But by having accountability, I know we set up accountability partners, by having, you know, your team, James, that reaches out, offers honest advice. They're very, you know, direct in what they say. You can ask any question. You might think it's a silly question, but you get honest answers and you're direct. And the majority of us in that group really appreciate that, because, you know, I might need to be told, actually, this might not be a good idea. And I get that honesty. Or if I get told, that sounds like a really great idea, then great, I can share that with others. So networking is huge. And then also look at your area, look at your industry, and try to network with people in that industry, other people who are, you know, influencers, or they have a good margin there. So for example, you know, for me, I've been trying to reach out, and I've connected with other people who, you know, have 50,000 or 100,000 followers on social media. Great, I can work with them. Then down the line, as has happened the last few months, they reach out to me. Hey, Daniel, I have a student who needs help with this. Could you help them? Great. Yeah. Also, that audience sees me. They know who I am. They connect. I had an interview with someone who has a YouTube channel with 1.8 million subscribers the other day. And as a result of that, I was getting lots and lots of messages. Now, they didn't all lead to, you know, conversions or sales or groups or whatever, but even if 2 or 3 of those do, I spent 30 minutes of my time. And as a result, you know, there's clients that I've got out of that. So again, that's not what I'm looking for, but it's a nice bonus from networking and using what I know and just sharing what I already know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think no, for this part of it, I think we are not emphasizing this enough in our training. And I'm glad that you made a great point. I think now a lot of people understand this better now. Okay, so basically it comes down to, when you start a business, when you start a niche business, something new, don't let your previous experience go wasted. Okay, look at it. Now, what I've done in my life can actually help my business. All right, and Daniel did 2 things at least. One, he reached out to all his previous students, colleagues, clients. Hey, can you write me a recommendation on LinkedIn? And if you guys go to Daniel's LinkedIn profile, check it out. Like 40, is that 40 plus recommendations?
I think it's 49 or 50 now. Yeah.
Yeah, I only have like 40 plus after 3 years of doing this, and after because I don't always ask for it. You know, people always come just to drop it. But I'm not saying you shouldn't ask. You go ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. Hey, I'm starting a business now. It's important to have some, social proof. And I know I had a great time working with you. Would you mind leaving my recommendation on LinkedIn? Right? Maybe not 100%. Right? Maybe Daniel can share a little bit more about that, how he did it. But just one thing: reach out to people, right, that can potentially help you with your business to build your social proof. I know 50% of our audience, so 50% of our clients, people in the inner circle, in the challenge, are traditional teachers. You've been teaching for decades, right? Reach out to these previous students and let them help you. Let them help you, and they're happy to help you, and they're gonna
Yeah.
congratulate you on this business. The number one, and number two, Daniel mentioned is networking. All right, networking. Don't miss any opportunities you can get to can help you build your network, get yourself in from people in your niche, or help you with business. Anyone reach out to you, hey, let's have a chat, let's see what can happen, let's help each other, right? So
Hmm.
networking and looking at your previous experience, your students, your relationships, anything that can help you with business, leverage it. Leverage it. Okay, I think that's really the points we're trying to make here. And
Yeah.
so maybe, I don't know if somebody asked Daniel, a lot of people don't feel comfortable asking for a recommendation, even
Sure.
with their current client. Like somebody working with them, they don't feel comfortable. So what do you do? Like usually, what do you do? What's your approach for this?
It's tough, and it is. You sometimes feel a little bit uncomfortable to ask that question, and I totally understand. In my experience, what I found, obviously working with adults or generally older students, kind of 18 plus, I generally find that once I do connect with them on LinkedIn, I ask them again, like I mentioned, I do those initial strategies to touch base, and then I'll ask and I'll say, would you be happy to write a recommendation for me? And I will be happy to write a recommendation for you. Now, a lot of my students that I've worked with in the past, they need references for jobs, for master's degrees, for PhDs, for a lot of different roles, whatever they might be. So I say I will be more than happy to provide myself as a reference for you. And that's been wonderful. And that got me a lot of really good reviews. And I didn't have to be a reference for everyone. I did for some, but that's absolutely fine. 5 minutes on a phone to say, James is a great person, you should hire him. That's and I'm happy to do that because I genuinely feel that way. So that worked really well for me. And then asking them, please share one thing you learned from my classes, or please share a success that you had as a result. That really goes well because then others can see not just what I did, but how I did it for that student. So I think that's a really useful thing as well. And one thing I forgot to add before, by reaching out to all those people. Oh, wow, you're starting a business. Great. What are you doing? Okay. Oh, actually, my friend or my cousin or me or my brother, they need some help. Could you speak to them? Yep. And that really helped. That got me a group in January out of nowhere because someone asked me about it. So makes a really big difference.
Yeah, yeah. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of your business.
Hmm.
Right? Tell people I have a business now. I'm running a business now. Just to tell everyone you know. A lot of people are ashamed of telling because they just started. They don't feel like they are established yet, or they don't feel like they are successful yet. You don't wait until you're successful to tell people you have a business. You tell people you have a business to help you become more successful, right?
Exactly.
So you need that
Exactly.
support network. Everyone around you should know you have a business, what you do, so they can help you too, right? Everybody around you can help you with your business, and that's a mindset. I think it's a mindset a lot of teachers need to develop. And one question, very quickly, relevant, I want to address it.
Hmm.
So about, for example, Georgia, you have taught 70 Chinese university
Wow.
students in the past, right? Is LinkedIn popular or visible in China? It was available in China last year. Then Microsoft, LinkedIn left China due to a lot of reasons. And but still, a lot of Chinese professionals, Chinese people, they are using VPN to get on LinkedIn, right? So you can always reach out to them, and if they can get on LinkedIn, they can leave you a recommendation. But also think about this, right? So reviews, recommendations are not only about leave a recommendation on LinkedIn. Anything that I send it to you, it can even be an email. They send an email about you, the experience working with you, or they can put something on your website, or anything that can be served as a social proof to help you with the business. It doesn't have to be a recommendation on LinkedIn. If you don't have access to LinkedIn, you can leave your review on Facebook, on any other place, or you just send an email to, right? So don't worry about it. And yeah, so we're still on the second point. And for those of you who just joined, still introduce yourself, right, to the audience. And if you don't mind, click on the like button to help us promote this session to more people on the platform. Okay, so I have been taking some notes. I think here, recommendation, right? Yeah, I already talked about that. So are we all good with the second point
There
here
was
then?
just one more thing I was going to
Go ahead,
say, like
please.
you mentioned before about, leveraging what you've done. Don't let your 10 or 15 or even 2 or 3 years of experience go to waste. One other thing that can really help is if I'm having a conversation with someone, maybe I can't help them now, but I say, hey, I built this guide, or I built this worksheet, or I built this website for you. Why don't you take a look? Again, you're giving, you might feel like you're giving something away for free, but if you already have it there and you've already done it, spend 5 minutes just to repurpose it and share that with anyone, because again, that keeps you as the go-to person. Maybe
Yeah.
3 months later, they might look through their hard drive and say, what's this? Oh, right. Yeah. How to write a resume. Actually, I need to brush up my resume. Let me reach out. So again, keeping yourself visible, offering something very short and simple, just to be, like I said, be genuine and honest. And then within the content as well, showcase your successes, showcase what you've done well. That again will get visible, that'll build traction, and hopefully should help you with your leads in the future as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one more point to add to the recommendation part of it. So for traditional teachers, right, you have been teaching for years, you have a lot of students, reach out to them, ask for a recommendation or review. And for non-traditional teachers or teachers who have changed, what they teach, from children to adults or professionals, right? You can still reach out. So I think the recommendation, yes, ideally, a recommendation from people from your niche, right? That would be the best. But a recommendation from somebody related to it, for example, Daniel asked for a recommendation from his previous colleagues, and the colleagues can talk about the working dynamic, the working experience with Daniel, although his colleagues are not from his niche, but it's still helpful because it gives you different aspects of this different perspective, different aspects of this teacher. People like to see that, right? Just don't hesitate. Oh, I've never taught anyone from a niche. You can ask the previous students, although they're not from a niche, but they can talk about your teaching skills. They can talk about the working experience with you, right? You can also reach out to, for example, Jane. We have Jane here. Jane is our client, and she worked in the banking industry. Although she started a niche, in banking, but Jane can always reach out to her previous colleagues, talking about the working experience, and also kind of build her expertise in the industry. Right? There's so many things you can do. Don't just limit yourself on only reaching out to people from your niche. This doesn't, it's not necessary especially if you don't have many. Okay, yeah, that's just one last point I want to make. That makes sense to you, right, Daniel?
Absolutely, yeah. Why not? Again, I know some people worry like, well, that's not really what I do. But again, if you had just have the same message repeated all the way through, then again, like you said, different aspects, different skills, different abilities that you have, then that can demonstrate everything, who you are, not just as a teacher, but also as a person as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's move on to the last one. It's keeping the door open for potential clients and adding value where possible.
Yeah, I've touched on this a little bit before. Like I mentioned, if you are engaging your audience and you're having those genuine conversations, then this can be really useful as you get towards the later stages when you want to start to maybe convert, or you're having those, conversations about your pricing or your product or your course. So again, keeping the door open. So maybe people are not at the right point in the journey yet. Maybe they don't need you right now. That's fine. Keep the door open. So what I found works really well for me, on LinkedIn, for example, I can just maybe separate or mark or flag certain people, and great, I'll touch base with you in 3 months. And it's not, hey, do you need my help now? It's, well, how have you been doing the last 3 months? How's everything going with your move to Canada? Were you able to find work? What are you doing right now? Again, keeping the door open and adding value. So how do I add value? So someone asked in the comments, do I have a Facebook group? Yes, I do. So that's a perfect way where we can add value. So, maybe you don't need me right now. That's fine. But I made a video the other day on 5 tips for writing a resume. Oh, I could use that. It's free. Yeah, sure. Go take a look. Join my group. There we go. And that's one easy way you can build value. So that's a good starting point. Also, for existing students, so for existing clients, have a group on WhatsApp for them where they can ask questions, they can work together on certain things. And that's been a really useful tool because it takes away, 10 people sending me the same question. Then again, they can work on it together. They can help each other, which is great. And again, builds that community within the clients that I have. Building topics into your course. So this is a great valuable thing that I've really found useful for me. It might not apply to everyone, but within my programs, I have some different programs, but within those, I build in networking as a topic. I build in using LinkedIn as a topic. So I practice what I preach. So people that I work with, they might ask me, "Oh, how did you do this?" Some people don't even realize how they got to my classroom, and I'll say to them, LinkedIn can be a great way to network. So again, I'm adding value. I'm showing you how you can, hopefully benefit and learn more and get a better job or change career or be successful. So that's another great one. One really useful way that I add value. So I have a group of nurses that I teach. So they're in the medical field. That's not really my niche, but again, this comes with, expanding and building and networking. So what I did for that group, add value. Okay, you guys are nurses. I'm not a nurse. I'm going to invite my friend who's a nurse to come and drop into our class. She's going to tell you what it's like to work in America, what to expect, what to look out for. A simple thing like that adds so much value to the class or the course, and that can really help your clients. It doesn't even need to be as part of your course. You could do a Facebook Live or a LinkedIn Live. If you're thinking of moving to the US to work in nursing or medicine, there's an expert here who can answer all your questions. Great. I'm still associated with that. I'm the person sat next to them, so they're still going to make that connection. Like some of you have mentioned as well, references, providing those references, helping clients with job hunting, it's really valuable for students. Now, some include that in your program, and that's a great idea. And that could be another real feature that you can use to add value. So maybe when you're discussing your program or your course, this is what we do. This is what we can offer. Now, thinking about you, once you finish this, maybe you're going to look for a job, right? You might need some help with interview skills. Why don't I add that in for you? Why don't we have a session with my colleague who is an expert in resumes and interview skills? Wow, he understands me. He gets me. He wants to genuinely help me. I'll definitely, take up a course. And one more thing that I think is really good is, again, through those conversations, is trying to progress step by step without, again, being pushy or without being salesy. What I mean is, for example, last week I was chatting to I think the position that she took, again, I won't name personally, but she is now the head of the student body in a university in the UK. So she won that, or she won the vote for that. So she's now the head of that student services. And she works with approximately 1,800 international students. And we've been talking back and forth for the last 2 months, initially just as a potential one-to-one client. Now she's responsible, she's working with 1,800 students in that area. I didn't know that. I didn't expect that. But now, next week, we're going to have a call. We're going to get together. How can she support students English in university? Wow. Daniel, you work on this, right? You help. Great. Could we talk about that? Because I need to present and give some suggestions to the faculty how we can support students with their English writing and their essay skills and their assignment skills. So again, by doing the following steps that we talked about before, the previous steps, it opens doors, it opens potentials, it opens opportunity. You've added that value, you're that go-to person, and then hopefully you can start to, again, build, progress, and it's like that snowball effect. It rolls on and on. The more people you talk to, the more visible you are, the more people are going to come to you.
That's great. That's great. So one thing I have to admit, Daniel, I think you really understand the principles of the training. Whatever we show in the challenge, in the inner circle, you have been able to elaborate, expand it,
yes,
to better serve your business. We talk about nurturing, but nobody, I don't think anybody told you how to expand his network, all that. I mean, I think understanding the principles, why you're doing it, and how you can do it better with your own business. That's a learning lesson for all the teachers. Just don't only learn what you need to do. You need to understand why you're doing it, so you can be creative. You can think outside the box, right? To do things nobody else ever done and get you better results. And that's great. That's what I can see from your business now here. Okay, so one comment I think it's very necessary for us to address. So we talk about the reviews, the recommendation. I think that has been one of the reasons that gave Daniel the boost to get more students early on. But not everyone has that when they start a business. But one thing I can assure you, Jane, a lot of teachers, when they first started, they don't have any review, they don't have any recommendations. They can still get students and get going and start building. So don't feel like, oh, I don't have any recommendations, I don't have any reviews, I wouldn't be able to have a successful business. And that is not true. Okay, many teachers start with nothing. And when you can, I think the point we want to ask you to bring home today is be more creative. Where can you get these recommendation reviews can help you accelerate your progress, your success? That's what you're gonna do. If you can't, don't worry. We're just gonna build it step by step. Okay. So I just want to address that a little bit. Yeah. So that's the last point, right, Daniel?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So a couple more things I think they're going to be very helpful as well for teachers to understand, especially teachers like you work in the university, a school teacher before, now you have a business. I want you to kind of highlight the major differences when it comes to your life, your business, your cell phone as well, being a teacher entrepreneur and being a school teacher.
It's like night and day, but yeah, sure. The big difference is now is that, when I was working for the universities, when I was working for the school, when I woke up in the morning, okay, I want to help my students. I want to make a difference to my students. And unfortunately, as time went on, it was less and less and less about the teaching. It was more and more about the processes, the systems, the meetings, the politics. And I got away from what really mattered to me. So now the difference is I'm in that position. I wake up in the morning, I'm really making a difference, and I really do care about my students. And something that I always ask potential clients or potential students is making sure that they're 100% committed and they're going to do whatever it takes, because I'm going to do the same for that person. And if they see that I'm going to make that investment in them, they're much more likely to make that investment in me. So the difference now for me is that I can set my own schedule. Okay. I was very conservative at first. I thought 5 days a week, great. 8-hour days, great. I'll be honest with you, throughout the challenge, it was probably more than that. And I think we'll all admit that we've put in much more time because we just want to perfect this, or we just want to change this, or let me rewrite this. So December, I made that time for me to kind of get a game plan. Lots of long days, 12-hour days sometimes, but at least now I've got to that stage where I have my schedule set. I have my non-negotiables. Friday night, I switch off. That's time for me and my family. Saturday, Sunday, no. Sunday night, 1 hour for planning only. So that's a huge difference now from have to respond to emails. My boss is calling me. I need to mark this. I need to write this. I need to respond to this. Again, all those things, all those distractions take away from what the power and the energy you have to help and serve your clients and serve your students. So the difference for me now is I'm focused. I have my programs, and some of you asked about this. They are all related. What I try to do, I won't go into it too much, but what I try to do is I try to individualize and personalize where I can. So it's kind of like I have like a shelf, and I have 15 items on that shelf, and I pick out the best 10 or the best 12 things that are going to best serve that student. So we have some flexibility with that, but it's not, cookie cutter carbon the same for everyone. It's kind of a range, a spectrum. So that helps me massively, and that shows my students that I really care about them, and I'm going to add to them as well. After I did the 21-day challenge and I joined the inner circle, I did 3 months. I went full on, and I got to a point, I actually wrote down my goals, and I said, month 1, I want to be here. Month 2, I want to be here. Month 3, I want to be here. And I did it because, like we worked on in the 21-day challenge, we set goals, we set challenging goals, and I made sure no matter what it takes, I'm going to go through that. Now, I didn't speak to my family much. I didn't speak to my wife much, but we got there. And this gave me the opportunity, James, where I was getting, before 2 weeks, 3 weeks vacation a year, I could pause and I could say, right, I'm going to take a vacation. I took a vacation for the first time in 2.5 years. It was amazing. No work, nothing, switched off, and just took some time for me. And I haven't been able to do that for years. So that was the biggest thing that I love. And, when I came back, I've still got this amazing community helping me, guiding me, supporting me, having great conversations, asking good questions, being honest. And again, I didn't expect that. I'll be honest, James. When I came into this, I started with the 7-day social media challenge because I wanted to push myself. I can do this. All right, let's move on. 21-day challenge. 21 days, I've got to be switched on, I've got to be committed. Can I do this? And there were a couple of days where I slipped off, and I was working on other things and I got distracted, but worked at it day by day, built what I wanted to do. Again, tried to make it work for me, but it worked. And like I said, that progressed because at the end of the 21-day challenge, I thought, wow, that's great. What about my support network? What about all these amazing teachers that I've been talking to every day? What about James and his team who have helped me through this journey and have helped me to get to where I am? Now I'm converted and I want to give back. That's why I'm here today, because we all get into that mindset as teachers, and I've been there, where I think, well, there isn't really another way. I mean, I can do online teaching and maybe get $20 an hour or $25 an hour, but as a lot of people saw, that can end anytime. And we do that, we think this is working, so I'll put all my eggs in one basket. Well, now the transformation for me is, okay, I have my teaching business, great. Now I'm going to work on, podcasting, great. Now I get to talk to teachers and I get to work with, amazing people and learn and listen to their stories and learn from them. So I'm not just teaching, I'm learning as well. So I teach, I podcast, I've actually developed some courses, some material, because I've had time. Okay, what do I have? What have I built over the last 10 years? Let me make these better. Let me better serve students and help them get the most out of my materials and my content. I don't just want to regurgitate the same stuff. I want to make it better. I want to make it more relevant. I want to make it up to date. So now I've got that stream. So now I've diversified from one salary, from one school, and I've transitioned out. I've got my online teaching business. I've got my materials. I've got my podcast. And again, there's other things that I'm working on as well, so that it just makes it a much better journey. And now I'm not just a teacher, I'm a teacher entrepreneur, and I have you to thank for that, James.
Thank you for coming here to inspire more teachers. And not everyone will be able to get to where you are in the short time period of time, but I deeply believe, as long as you don't give up, you keep going, and you have the community to support you, you know what you want to do, you're committed to your business, you will get to where you want to be. Have your own business, taking control over everything you're running, right? Being creative. I have different program. I want to do whatever I want. I want to best serve my students, my community. I don't want to follow others, the school's curriculum and guidelines, and limiting myself from better serving my students, right? So if that is you, and teachers are doing that. Daniel is doing that. So many teachers we interviews are doing it, and you can do it too. Just have to trust yourself. I can do it, right? And we have put together everything you need to know, step by step, step by step, in the 21-day challenge. Everything you need to know about going independent, getting started, getting your own students, marketing, sales, teaching, all there to get going. I mean, now it's your call, your decision to jump in and trust us and jump in, and you will be fine. And we're gonna catch you, and nothing gonna happen. All right. So thank you very much, Daniel, for sharing your stories. And you've been very generous. To be honest, you have been very generous about all the tips, all the best practices you've been doing, and you're sharing. Because a lot of people might be hesitant. Oh, I don't want to share this. What if they are doing better than me? No, that's not, because we're a community. Now you help each other.
Sure.
Right? I think Daniel is willing to share that because he always believes in this networking, believes in helping each other, right? And you've been helped by so many people in your business, with your business in the past 3 months, and you want to give back. And the same thing for all of us, right? All of us help each other and help us improve our community, help each other with our business, and that's why we're here. Okay, so if you haven't joined the 21-day challenge, I know a lot of teachers watching this live session now have joined, and also a lot of people are already in the inner circle as well. So if you haven't joined the 21-day challenge, and every time my call to action is do that, because that's where you want to start with. Nothing gonna it's a small investment, the smallest investment. I actually received an email yesterday, and one of the teachers graduated from the challenge and also in the inner circle told me, James, the investment in the 21 challenge is still by far the best investment I ever made in my life, because he has got, I think, almost 1,000 times return out of that.
I was just about to say that. even midway through, it had already paid for itself 8 times over. So what do you have
Yeah.
to lose? You know?
What do you have to lose? Okay, so I'm gonna share the link we have for you guys, and 50% off. And we only have, let me see here, we don't have I think 30 tickets left. We have 50 in total. We only have 30 tickets left. If you feel ready to do it and take advantage of these tickets, and this is only available for the next month, and please do that. Now join the challenge and give it a go. And nothing gonna happen. Just no, nothing bad gonna happen. You're gonna get so many things to gain, and you're gonna be enjoying it as well. So I'm gonna share the link with you guys. If you feel ready, do it. Right. If you have questions, reach out, email me, LinkedIn or Facebook, everywhere, YouTube. We're gonna help you answer questions. Okay. So we have a few minutes left. If you guys have any questions that we didn't answer yet, we haven't answered yet, any questions for me, for Daniel, or we missed your question early on, you asked, we didn't see it, we didn't answer, please ask again, and we're going to pick a few to answer before we finish up today. Okay?
Yeah, I saw a few earlier, so I'll be happy to answer those if you
Which
need
one
me
do you
to.
want to answer, Daniel?
So I believe I'm just going to scroll down just a moment. So I think it was, let me just see, sorry, just a moment. Here we go. So I think Victoria Wood asked, are your programs all related to your niche? How varied are they? How many do you have? When did you make the second one? So my message with that would just be, if you're just starting out and you're just taking the challenge, focus on one thing. And it's really tough to find that niche, but throughout the challenge, you will get the help and the guidance you need. And the best thing about the challenge is, even if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not sure if I should do A or B or C, share what you're thinking and people will help you. I was in the same boat myself not that long ago. And luckily, through having those conversations with others, I tried to pivot towards what best served me and what would best serve my students. So again, once you get the confidence and you get the ball rolling, then you can start to, branch out. Don't try to do everything at once. And the beauty of the 21-day challenge is it takes you through it day by day, step by step, so that you can get on your feet. And as long as you're a couple of weeks ahead, then you can start building and working and finding what works for you. So it's not really rewriting everything. It's just using what you have and just building slowly. That would be my best advice on that. And the 21-day challenge will really help you with that as well. Joya Tulek, how do you get students to book your courses at such a high rate? This is a really good question. And I think probably a lot of people want to know about this. So there isn't really a secret to it, Joya. My advice would be yourself, be genuine, be honest, build that connection, build that value. Honestly, if I'm talking to a client or a student, by the time I get to the rate or the course, they've seen the value, they've seen how it's going to help them, how it's going to benefit them. They visualize that journey or that path that I'm going to try to take them on. And then by that point, that's kind of an afterthought. Now, that takes time and practice. And again, I learned that through the 21-day challenge, but you can definitely do it. It just takes time and practice. And that's something I'll be happy to talk about in the future. So it's a good question. But again, if you're doing all the other things right, it should really fall into place. Not that simple, but definitely for the most part, I think. It's a great question. Yeah. Anything else that I've said?
We've also got a lot of good feedback about on the interview. So Elsie, thanks a lot. Very valuable interview. Thank you very much for being here, Elsie.
Thanks, Elsie.
And Jane, thanks, James, and thanks. And Wani, the 21 challenge is one of the best thing I've ever done. Thank you. And Lisa Young, James for guidance, interviewing Daniel. Thanks, you Lisa. For being here, Lisa. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, if you have more questions, guys, feel free to drop it. We can probably answer another 2 or 3. Yep. If you have, right? Do you see any other questions?
Yeah, Angela Murillo. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. What did you learn about the podcast? Sorry, let's not get those confused. I have a teaching podcast that I host, and then initially I was trying to connect with other teachers in the teacher entrepreneur group. So that's how I first started talking to James. So it wasn't in the inner circle, but I do have a teaching podcast. You can find that if you go to my LinkedIn. You can find all the information there, and feel free to connect. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about the 21-day challenge. So yeah, that's fine. Sorry for the if there was any confusion there. But yeah, I think that's all the questions I can see here. Wonderful. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, from Carol, excellent interview. Many thanks, James and
Thanks,
Daniel. Thank you,
Carol.
Carol.
Oh, here, do you apply, it just says Facebook user. So again, I'm sorry, I don't know who's asking this. Do you apply the same strategy of nurturing with administrative people in business who already speak English, but have employees who need services? That's a great question. Again, the conversation, the connection that you build with someone is not necessarily all business or professional in terms of your goal. You just want to have a genuine, authentic conversation with that person. So I would say I approach it the same way. Maybe the words that I use or the vocabulary I use might be slightly different, but that's about knowing your audience and knowing your niche. So again, through the challenge, you'll start to focus on who your niche is, what your ideal prospect looks like. And then once you develop that, you might have 2 or 3 prospects. And then that way you can tailor your message to them. And that's something you can scale quite easily. And scaling is a big part of the 21-day challenge and also the inner circle. So that's something that you'll definitely get help with and guidance with. That's a great question.
Good. All right. Yeah. So one of the
I
comments.
think last one here, if that's okay, James, do you want me to answer this
Go
last
ahead,
one?
please.
Yeah, so Catherine Andrews, if you already have 28 students and how many SSs were not converted? Yeah, that's a good question. I like this. So if I'll just quickly go to my spreadsheet and I can tell you this, Catherine.
It doesn't have to be that accurate. It's
No. I'll give you roughly.
24.5%.
No, the conversion rate roughly is about 70%,
Well,
which I
that's
think is
high.
really good. But big caveat there. Some of those students, so I would probably say, in the first month as well, 7 or 8 of those students were students that I either worked with or were recommended to me. So that does make it a lot easier. However, like I said, the more you talk, the more you build rapport, the more you build connection, the easier that process becomes. Maybe if you just talked a few messages and then you talk to them and try to convert them, that could be more tricky. So again, it's something that I don't try to lead with now because obviously I have my bulk of students, my group, and now it's kind of bringing in 1 or 2 at a time as opposed to just trying to get as many as possible. So at this stage for me, it's not as difficult per se because people know what I offer, they've heard about it, they come to me now, so it makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, I think around 70%. But again, big caveat, big asterisk there, they were kind of recommendations or people I knew before because I tapped my network and I tried to reach out when I first got started. So yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna answer one last question, and before
Sure.
that, just wanted to show one comment. I think it means a lot to you and me as well. So Daniel, thanks very much for sharing. It was really interesting. We're very glad to know that you can work the heart of your job as a teacher now. And that means a lot because I know after working with teachers for 3 years, I know how depressive
Yeah, it's tough.
This industry. It's not a good environment to me. Just seeing so many teachers are depressed, undervalued, underappreciated, and don't like their job anymore. And a lot of teachers quit, from teaching. They're trying to look for something else. I think what Daniel told us today and also shared will send a message. There is a better way to teach.
Yes.
There's a way for you to pursue your passion, right? And then you're gonna enjoy and you're gonna work the heart of your job as a teacher, right, Daniel?
Don't ever settle for where you are because I've had this conversation like you, James, with a lot of teachers and they say, well, it's risky. I don't know if I can do this and I'm not sure if it's going to work for me. And of course, everyone's journey is very different. But again, the 21-day challenge is great because you've got someone there to hold your hand, hundreds of people to hold your hand to guide you through it. And for me now, that gave me the confidence and the motivation to say, you know what? I'm going to really push everything towards this. I'm going to really pursue this now. And I got the skills, I got the confidence, I got the knowledge. So at least I have the foundations. And now I'm at a stage where I can really start to go in the directions I want and scale the way I want. So don't settle. Don't feel like this is all you have. Your situation now is all you have because it isn't. You always have opportunities. There's so much out there. There's so many people out there who want to hear your message and they want to work with you. And you might not believe that, but there really is. It's just about finding them and positioning your message for them. So it's possible. And again, thank you so much, James, for giving me a chance to speak. I'm really happy to give back and share my experience. And if anyone has any questions, again, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer them.
And feel free to connect with Daniel on LinkedIn, follow
Sure.
him on YouTube, and it's all about networking. Let us help each other with this journey. So one last question I'm gonna address. Then we're gonna that's gonna be all for today. I think this this about the recommendation. I think people really get that. The recommendation, the reviews. It can be creative. For Teresa here, should I get reviews from teaching children? And yes, I think you can, because you can always reach out to these parents and let them leave a recommendation or review of your teaching. No, not necessarily focus on who you are teaching, who you taught, right? Who you were working with, but also the dynamic, how much you care about the student, how much you're delivering, how much you're helping them, right? So this is not the best recommendation for your niche, but it can reflect your teaching style, your personality, right? And let people know more about you. I think this is good. We definitely reach out. I don't think there's a reason you shouldn't. That right to you too, Daniel?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, feel free to connect on LinkedIn if you wish. I'll be happy to answer any questions. But yeah, I think that's great. And like I said, feel free to connect. That's the first part. Great things come from great conversations. So feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and be genuine to your audience, right? So a lot of things, a lot of takeaways from today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. I hope we're gonna come back together with Daniel in the future when he's on the next stage, and I know it will be. And stay tuned and connect with me and Daniel, and join the 21 Day Challenge with the link I shared with you guys. The 50% off for the next round. Just do it. Don't hesitate. Okay. That will be it for today. I'll see you guys next time. Okay. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.